Do you know what the next narrative is? Of course you do. Everyone knows what the next narrative is because it is Ethereum. Everyone's talking about Ethereum getting a potential ETF, and especially after Bitcoin's very successful ETF launch. Well, it is a good question to be asking because Bitcoin, while it did have about a 20% drop from that initial ETF high, there wasn't really anything more on top of that. And of course, as of right now, no one really cares about that drop because Bitcoin's trading, several, I don't know, like 10 to 15% higher than when that ETF high was. So as Ethereum does become the, I think the next major topic, it does really beg the question, where is this thing going? How high could it potentially get? And where is these explosive gains potentially going to be coming from? As well as some major reversal points that we'll also revisit for Bitcoin as well. Today being a very, very important day on Friday. So other than that, I would like to welcome you back to the Aircrown Crypto channel. You can see that we've got a new setup in the background here, but it's not fully set up just yet, unfortunately. It'll be getting more and more robust in the days to come, but you don't give a fuck about that. You give a fuck about price action analysis. So we're going to jump right into it right here, right now, starting off with Ethereum for the daily statistics on Friday, which for Ethereum is actually one of the most bullish days. In fact, it's tied for the most likely to close positively days in its full history. That and Tuesday are typically the days that Ethereum likes to, well, not necessarily likes to, but has historically speaking been closing with some nice upside movements at 60.42% of all daily closures on Friday closing positively, which has had an average return on the positive side of almost 2.5%. And on the negative side, we've all seen a loss of about 2.30%, which I would say is a little more on the volatile side. So let's put that in perspective. If Ethereum does play that out today, what would 2.40-ish% look like on top of the open? That would put Ethereum somewhere just below 2,900, about 28.90, let's say. If we were to play out the downside of that, where would that essentially suggest? It would be about 232 to the downside. So what are we looking at right there? About 2750 or so. So that's likely the range for today. As this is, like I said, traditionally a good day for Ethereum. Also of interest here is the run-up statistics, of course, as we have seen 1-2 days closing positively in a row. Typically speaking, Ethereum, when it does like to run, it closes 3 positive days in a row. And again, similar to Bitcoin, if you go out even just to the the 84th percentile, and I realize that my camera has been wrecked. Oh man, it's that is a great face right there. That's a face I'm gonna make when Ethereum explodes. But the 84th percentile is just one more day on top of that at 4. For reference, the maximum amount of positive days we've ever seen in a row for Ethereum has been 10. But today likely printing in the next positive day. Again, keeping in mind that Friday is most likely to close positively. Do we see maybe a correction over the weekend? Perhaps yes. So I guess the question is, what are the major areas to be aware of for Ethereum then in terms of short-term correction? And for that, I'm going to go down to the daily here on the HPDR indicators, and we can see that Ethereum, similar to Bitcoin when it was having its big run to the upside, Ethereum is using that 61.8 region right here to kind of base off of and launch higher. And we can see that the next range high at the 78.6 level is 29.80-ish region. So that perhaps is an area of interest in the coming days. Again, that would imply, however, that Ethereum we would not see below the 61.8 level, which is about 2,800 even on a daily closing basis. That also means if you see Ethereum close below about 2,800 today, then that would be indicative that we are going to see at least a short-term correction. God, that face is fucking hilarious, by the way. Holy shit. I can't get it out of the way now. We're just going to run with it. But yeah, 2,800. Again, if Ethereum closed below that today, okay. Correction likely over the weekend, probably at minimum seeing low 2700s, like 2720-ish region to 2710 region. But for right now, as long as Ethereum remains above this, above this area, upside is more likely, especially being that it is Friday. And to take that one step further, we can go over here to the 5-day time frame and see that Ethereum has actually, similarly to Bitcoin, closed above the median here on the 5-day HPDR. And perhaps we have yet another Bing and Bong setup. The Bing over here is 2650. So if Ethereum did come back down around there, I'd be expecting, pretty impressive bounce. And Bong over here getting quite high, just below 3,300 actually on the 5-day time frame. This one a little bit less well tested on Ethereum, but there does seem to be just kind of just glancing at the past here, there does seem to be a decent enough relationship there. Not as good as Bitcoin, to be fair. Anyways, moving on now, I do want to get into a follow-up of one of the major moving average crosses that we're looking at for Ethereum. This was about a couple weeks ago now. It is the yellow 21 exponential moving average and the white 200 simple moving average right here. Did officially cross the upside, obviously, since we last spoke. And the only other time that we've actually seen that to the upside in Ethereum's history, slip of the tongue right there, was back here in August of 2020. And well, you already know where I'm going with this one, as that was essentially that first macro high, or it wasn't necessarily first macro high or low, but it was the first major macro move to the upside out of the macro accumulation zone right here. I'm talking about this area right here, that did produce that higher low, and then big fucking girthy green dildos to the upside after that. So fair enough. Do we see something similar over here? It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like that, but it is an overall good indication that Ethereum is likely setting in the tone for a while now for major moves to the upside, as this did actually mark off this cross, did mark off the pretty damn good accumulation zone for Ethereum in this cycle as well. So in this case, this one kind of just getting started over here. Again, 5-day time frame doesn't necessarily mean that it has to like go to the moon today or tomorrow or anything like that, but over time, very likely, yes. Likely is, likely is headed up. Again, 786 fib here is just below 3,600. And of course, we got the 5-day setup over here, showing an area of interest. This is, again, more long-term, just below 3,300. So that'd be the next sort of like macro area of interest that I'd be having on Ethereum, perhaps in the next month or two. And we can actually take this one step further over here and realize that Ethereum, while it doesn't necessarily have the same 5-day volatility versus stochastic momentum relationship that Bitcoin does, that makes it very nice and easy. Ethereum does, it is coming out of extreme lows for volatility, which in the past couple of years here has actually been a pretty damn good indication of significant moves, both to the upside and the downside. But if we just focus on the upside ones, especially in this past year here, since Ethereum essentially flipped from bear to bull, we can see that the upside moves have been, the most recent one was about 40% in 25 days. The one before that was about 55% in 35 days. And the one before that was about 31% in 40 days. So this one, again, we would say basically just began over here. Currently, we're about 20 days into this one. So in the next, I would say 10 to 15 days, you're probably going to see the next major high, perhaps on this rally. And for reference, if Ethereum were to put in, 40% move from there, that would put Ethereum at about 3,100 or so. After that, probably in for consolidation, similar to Bitcoin. But again, long term, the directions are being set, it does seem like. Anyways, I need to bring back up my notes because they, for whatever reason, just closed on me. So un momento on that. All right, yeah, there we go. And then, just one last thing here for Bitcoin as I go back to this chart right here. So Bitcoin yesterday did essentially play between, hey, what the fuck is going on with this? I've never seen this happen before. That's weird. Is basically playing between the 78.6 level and the 61.8 level right here. But as you can see today, it is going to have a chance to close below. So I would be a little bit cognizant that if it does close below, we're probably looking at a short-term correction down to 51. Now, if Bitcoin starts to close below, let me bring up a different chart. Maybe this will fix it. There we go. Okay, I don't know why the other one was acting weird, but okay, this one actually makes a lot more sense as well. Yeah, currently teetering around that 61.8 level right here. This is one that we're going to run off of. If Bitcoin does close below this region, I would be looking for a weekend correction down to 50,800-ish region. Very likely at least a try for a bounce there. But at that point, the bounce, the analysis from the bounce is actually very critical. If Bitcoin fails that bounce and then closes below the bounce level of 50,800, again, we're making assumptions here that first this even closes below, which is, right now it's kind of right at. But if it were to, we're probably in for a larger correction overall, coming down, somewhere around the median on the HPDR on the daily. Again, the median will start to crawl up here rather significantly with each and every passing close, but just be aware that that would be a pretty damn good indication of a correction coming. But again, big focus on about 52,200 today. If Bitcoin can close above there, okay, game on still. In the more immediate term. But other than that, I think that's a good place maybe for me to be leaving off. Apologies for the frozen O face right there, but I just got really excited. I'll take it away for right now, actually. Just realized it's actually quite easy to do. I'll be setting up over the weekends. Again, just still everything's kind of slow for me right now. And hopefully soon enough, we're going to have everything just nice and orderly, which I'm really, really looking forward to with the proper setup. But yeah, in the meantime, all is well, and hope all is well for you as well. I should also make an announcement for Meta Signals, although I should have done that at the beginning of this video. I'll probably focus more on that perhaps tomorrow, but Meta Signals is opening up their NFT for the people who were asking. So they can, I think they're going to sell about 200 more and then likely close it again. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Check them out on Twitter as well, of course. They've been posting a lot of freebies and they've been working incredibly well, which you can go ahead and reference for yourself. Again, on their Twitter at MetaSignals, or on their Discord, you can even just get some of the free signals yourself. All right, sweet. That's it for me. As always, I want to wish you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.